It's so weird, but also so good. It's a weird good. Hi, it's Texi. Happy New Year. A little late. I've been meaning to film this video for like a week, but I've been procrastinating it, so you're getting a 2020 books video a little bit late. But anyway, so I wanna do this by going through the books and tea reading challenge prompts, since we had 12 prompts for 2020, so like one book for each month. I did read quite a bit more books than that. I actually read like 20 books, which is my new personal record, so I'm kind of proud of that. But yeah, I'll go through the 12 prompts and then I guess I'll just mention any books left out of the list later, just to make this a bit more interesting, because like I can't really organize them by rating or anything, because I rated pretty much all of my books like 4 or 5 stars last year, because I guess I'm that easy to please. So the first prompt was Match the Dragon Queen, a book with a purple cover, and for that prompt I chose Let's Talk About Love by Claire Gunn. It was actually the only book I read last year that had any purple on the cover really, which was surprising, because I feel like purple is a really common color for book covers. But yeah, the cover has like Ace flag colors, so it has some purple in it, so I figured that fits the prompt the best. The prompt was a purple book because it's the favorite color of the books and tea server owners, is all Lauren Northern Plunder, or however you may know her. I have never tried to say Northern Plunder aloud before, I think, and that's really difficult. Yeah, Let's Talk About Love was a cute little Ace romance book. I enjoyed it, even though it had some things I wasn't a huge fan of, but it was still like a 4-star read, because it was fun, it was cute. So if you like romance and want some Ace rep, that's a good one for you. And the next prompt was You Might Not Have Known, a lesser known author or a lesser known book. And I've actually got 2 books for this one that fit perfectly. First of all, Meet Cute Club by Jack Harburn. This was also a romance book. It was about this guy who has a romance book club, and he meets this guy at the bookstore who kind of makes fun of his book purchases because he was buying a shit ton of romance books, and the guy gets so passionately defensive about it that the bookseller guy gets interested and joins the club, mostly because he wants to date the guy. It was also a really cute short romance. I enjoyed it a lot. And the other book I had for this prompt was Witch Hunt, A Traveler's Guide to Power and Persecution of the Witch by Kristen J. Soleil. I talk about this in my previous video too. It's like this... Ow! My hair is stuck in my glasses. The author traveled to different countries like Italy and France and Germany, UK and bunch of places in the US, and talks about the witches of those places and what happened to them, because they were all some kind of victims of witch hunts. And it was really interesting because it's like a combination of like travel stories and actual history, and I liked it. I listened to it on audio, and the narrator of the book was really nice to listen to. And the next prompt is Why Haven't I Read This Yet? A book you've owned since 2017, and I kinda cheated and actually picked a book from 2018 because I realized I don't have that many books from 2017. I don't know if I really have any that I actually still want to read. I really need to organize my shelves and unhaul some stuff at some point. But yeah, I picked Kingdom of the Blazing Phoenix by Julie Sidao for that prompt, because yeah, I bought this book when it was first released back in 2018, and it took me until this year to actually read it, even though I love the previous book in the series a lot. Yeah, this is basically a Snow White retelling, and the previous book is about the Queen. It was nice. It was really nice to get back into this world. Even though it had been a long time since I read Forest of a Thousand Lanterns, it was really easy to get back into this and I enjoyed it. So yeah. The next prompt is awesome, of course, books by authors of color. And I've got 2 books for this prompt again. The first one is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. This was a book about a girl who is a teen mom and also really wants to be like a chef. She really loves cooking and she takes part in this cooking class in her school, and then they have to collect money for a class trip to Spain and stuff like that. It was a really nice book. I read it like crazy fast and I just enjoyed it a lot. It made me happy. I guess I felt like kind of protective of Imoni. I wanted her to like have a happy life with her daughter, and it gave me many happy feelings. And the second book, or actually a series because I read both of these this year, is The Girl from the Well duology by Rin Chubeko. This is a horror duology about this ghost Okiku, she's a vengeful spirit. She hunts down men who hurt children. She's got a really good radar for those because she can like see the ghosts of murdered children, and then she'll kill the guy who killed the children and then they'll be set free. And I really enjoyed especially the first book in the series because it's from Okiku's point of view, so it's really unique. And the second book is from the point of view of this guy Tark, who Okiku kinda gets really attached to and then literally attached to in this book. So this is kinda about stuff they get up to together, and this was actually way scarier than the first book because it takes place in like Aokigahara, the suicide forest in Japan. Like the major adventure part takes place in there, and it was terrifying because there was like this hidden village full of ghosts who were really angry. It was really interesting, but it was really scary. So I actually struggled reading this a little bit because of that. The first book felt kind of safer because it was from Okiku's view, because she's also an angry ghost, but she's a nice angry ghost. And this is from like a normal human point of view, so there's like a bigger sense of danger, I guess. So that's why I like this a bit more, but this is a really good duology. I enjoyed it. I love me some Dream. And the next prompt is In Satan We Stand, a book with 666 pages or longer. And I kinda cheated this one because none of the books I read quite reached the 666 mark. But I decided Gemina counts because it's literally like 7 pages away, because it's like 659 pages long. So it's a thick boy, it's enough. It's so close, I decided it fits the prompt. So let's go with it. I did a whole vlog about reading this and how it kind of disappointed me, so yeah. I enjoyed the first book in the Illuminae series much more, so this was a bit disappointing, but I'm sure I'll finish the series at some point. And the next prompt was Full of Pride, an LGBT plus books and authors. So for that prompt I've got This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Mutar and Max Gladstone. And that book was so amazing. It's so beautiful. It's definitely one of my favorites from last year. And I think I need to get a physical copy for myself at some point, because that's how much I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's about like these two time travel agent type people who they travel to different times and places and change things a tiny bit to make the world go to a direction that fits their agency's goals. It's weird. The book is really weird, but that's why I liked it. But basically like they start leaving each other letters because they're like enemies, so at first they're like just kind of taunting each other, and then as they leave the letters they start to get to know each other a bit more, and eventually they fall in love, and it was really good. It's so weird, but also so good. It's a weird good. So if you like weird good, I recommend it. It's also really short, so there's that too. And the next prompt is highly recommended a staff member's favorites. I picked The Cruel Prince by Holly Black because I know at least Lauren likes this trilogy a lot. And I remember this, I read this like way earlier in 2020, so I don't remember much, but I remember liking this. It took me a bit to really get into it, but once the story started really rolling, I actually enjoyed it a lot because the main character is pretty badass, especially considering her situation, like she's a human and everyone else is like fae that can control her and stuff if she's not careful. This was a really fun book, and I definitely want to read the rest of the series at some point when I get my hands on them. And the next prompt was a fresh look, a book that has an adaptation this year, and for that I chose Pride and Prejudice because apparently it had a musical this year. I didn't even know until I started googling when I was making the list for this video. Like when I was matching books to the prompts, because I didn't really actually pick the books specifically for the prompts. Books chose the prompts. Pride and Prejudice was a really random choice for me to read this year, but I actually ended up enjoying it a lot more than I expected, so that was nice, because I really don't read classics much at all. But it was a positive surprise, so I'm glad about that. And the next prompt is Stars the Limit set somewhere otherworldly, and for that I picked Wicked as You Wish, also by Rin Chupeco, and this is kind of like an alternate version of our world, so I guess it kind of counts as otherworldly, but it also has like this whole like fantasy country that doesn't exist in our world at all, so I'd say at least that definitely counts. This is one of those books that are really hard to describe because it's like a mishmash of different fairy tales and then a lot of stuff. It's a strange little book, but it's fun. Definitely fun. This was actually the first book I read in 2020 while I was in a horrible slump, so it took me like 3 months to get through this book alone, and it's not even that thick. The start of 2020 was a bit of a struggle. And the next prompt is new Kitch on the publisher or pub, and it's a 2020 debut author. And for that I picked These Violent Delights, and this book is really good. I did a whole review video about it. It's like a Romeo and Juliet retelling that takes place in 1920s Shanghai, and it's just really cool. The main characters are Juliet and Roma, and they are like the heirs of two gangs, Scarlet Gang and White Flowers, and they are like rivals, and then there's the whole enemies to lovers thing, and also they have to figure out why everyone is catching this madness thing in Shanghai. This book is really good. I recommend. It's one of my favorites from last year too. And also this edition has pink edges. It's so pretty. Lauren's friend Beck was so nice and sold this Fairy Loot edition to me because I really wanted it, and I couldn't get the actual box because I couldn't get far enough in the waitlist. So I'm happy I actually got this. The dust jacket has an illustration under it of Juliet and Roma, and I love it. And the next prompt is I'm dying to read this book, but I haven't yet. And that was The Furies by Katie Lowe. I actually got this from the, I guess it was May 2019 book hook box. It was like the first book hook box where I actually did the whole art print for the box. And it took me a while to actually read this, but this was also really good and ended up being also one of my favorites from last year. I feel like everything is my favorite, but yeah. This book was really cool and totally like out of my comfort zone as far as like genre goes, but I really enjoyed it. It's like about this girl who goes to a new school and she gets invited to like these kind of like secret feminist classes or something, and then the other girls there are really interested in witchcraft, and then they kind of dabble in that, and also they do drugs and stuff. None of them are really good people actually, and there's stuff like murder and other not so nice things in this book, but even though it was kind of an uncomfortable read, I just really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I read it. And I definitely want to read more books by Katie Lowe in the future too, even though I'm a little scared too. And the last prompt is small stories, an anthology or a book that's shorter than most, and for that I picked Soft on Soft by Mina Wahid. And it's about these two girls, one of them is a makeup artist and the other is a model, and they fall in love and they are really cute. And it's a very short book. It's a super cute fluffy romance basically. So if you want a romance with basically no drama at all, then this is something you would probably enjoy. It's really adorable. Yeah, that's all the 12 books and tea reading challenge prompts. Like I said, I actually read like 20 books last year, so I didn't quite get to all of them in this video, but I like insert a picture of the remaining books here now, so you can see the rest of them. But I've been listening to a bunch of non-fiction stuff, and I don't know what else I left out from this. But anyway, I've read a lot of good books. So at least 2020 was a good reading year for me, if nothing else. And if you're interested in the books and tea reading challenge, we have a new one going on right now. Some of the prompts are the same as last year, but also there are some new ones, like the color book prompt has been replaced with like asking someone to give you a color and then reading a book that has that color cover basically, and fun stuff like that. So if you want to join the books and tea reading challenge, it goes on the whole year and it's 12 books again, and you can like merge prompts if you want to as well, if you find like one book that fits two or something. I hope you liked yet another bookish video and I hope you had a nice new year, and I hope 2021 ends up being okay. Fingers crossed. Consider subscribing and maybe liking this video, and yeah, I'll try my best to post weekly, but no promises, but that's my goal at the moment. As long as I don't have a job, that's my goal. Thanks for watching and bye!